This year marks the 100th anniversary of Armistice, the end of World War I, and what has become our act of remembrance. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, the guns fell silent, marking the end of one of the deadliest wars in human history. Over 61,000 died and 170,000 Canadians were wounded. World War I in many ways shaped Canada as a nation. Canadian soldiers were known for their dependability and tenacity. They fought with courage and bravery. World War I was the war to end all wars, and the armistice was to have marked peace in our time. Unfortunately, that was not to be true, and overall 118,000 Canadians have given their lives to protect our country. Canada is a nation committed to peace, and as one of the founding members of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, we pledged to safeguard the freedom, common heritage, and civilization of our peoples, founded on the principles of democracy, individual liberty, and the rule of law, and to unite our efforts for collective defense and for the preservation of peace and security. Today, we find ourselves in a time of unprecedented global instability, where we are witnessing fundamental shifts in our economic frameworks, trade relationships, defense and security structures, and maybe even our concept of nation-states. And as we navigate this time and envision the future, values will and do matter. So what does that have to do with Remembrance Day? And more importantly, what does that have to do with each of us? Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae says it best in his poem In Flanders Fields, when he tells us, speaking in the voice of those who have sacrificed their lives for us, to take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. But in 2018, who is our foe? As we pledged with our NATO allies, our enemy is anyone or anything that would jeopardize our nation's principles of democracy, individual liberty, and the rule of law. Anything that would threaten Canada's economic and political freedom, our self-determination, our security, our sovereignty. A nation's peace and security is fragile, and we must not be complacent or take it for granted. So to those who serve, those who have served, and those who will serve when our country calls, we thank you. Service to country is an honorable profession, and on Remembrance Day, and always, to honor those who have sacrificed, we must be vigilant in the defense of the values for which our nation stands. We must hold the torch high, or, as John McCrae eloquently wrote, if ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields, lest we forget.